Hi guys, this is my preview for the 2020 RBS Six Nations final weekend, or should I say the delayed final weekend, of course, because of COVID. Just wanted to put an apology that I haven't been able to put out individual previews for each match. I've been quite busy and just had a lot of stuff going on, so I'm just going to be doing this all in one video and hoping it's a good weekend of rugby. Again, shame there's no fans at any of the games. The canned crowd noise, as we've agreed, I think has been pretty rubbish by comparison, so we'll just get cracking into it. First up, got the Wales against Scotland game. Wales ringing the changes, with 6 changes made, including the drop-ins of George North, Rhys Webb and Aaron Wainwright from the squad altogether. Nick Tompkins and Dylan Lewis dropping to the bench. But also worth a mentioning of Alan Wynne-Jones, who wins his 149th cap on Saturday, surpassing Richie McCaw's record and becoming the most capped international rugby player of all time. It's full testament to the guy, the player, fully deserves it. No surprise he's still going at a very high level that he is at 35, just with how he applies himself, how he plays the game. An example to all, so full credit to him, and I think he's definitely got at the very least another 2 or 3 good years of rugby left in him. Expect him to make the next Lions tour, possibly even captain that. That's for a bit later in the season, so we'll see. And maybe even 2023 World Cup. I wouldn't count him out at all. But with regards to this Wales team, looking at it, they'll be looking to bounce back from their defeat against France last week. I think they will be in better shape than they were against the French at home, albeit it's going to be obviously in the Parc des Scarlets. It's not going to be in the Principality Stadium, but I think they will be a bit better with a week together. Sort of players who are in a bit more form, with Liam Williams, of course, coming back in. I feel a wee bit for Aaron Wainwright. Once again, like in the Ireland game, he's the player to take the bullet from the forward pack in the team. And I think it will be interesting to see how it goes. But overall, Wales do look a bit all over the place in defence mainly. I think this week, as I said, their attacking game will improve, but defensively, there still a lot to be desired. This umbrella defence they tried to play against France didn't work, and in all their games so far, they kept having players playing in 1s and 2s, and players like lacking discipline of when to shoot out the line, when to drift. There just seems to be a lack of structure there that was obviously there under Warren Gatland and Sean Edwards when they were captains of the Welsh defence. And that's the thing with this Welsh team, because they're trying to play a different style than what they did under Gatland. I mean, Gatland's brand of rugby wasn't always great to watch, but they were absolutely ruthless in being efficient at the basics and in defence as well. Up until the last World Cup, they weren't as good in defence as they were before then. But that's something that seems to have deserted Wales right now, which could also fall in favour for their opponents. My team, Scotland. Scotland, we've made 3 obvious changes. Stuart Hogg, Finn Russell and Johnny Gray all back starting again. Fantastic to see Finn Russell making up his differences with Gregor Townsend and starting at 10. Hopefully, like he did against Georgia last week, he'll go in and run the show. Of course, the forward pack need to give him a platform to work from, and hopefully that will stand in our favour. Stuart Hogg back as captain. I'm personally still not wholly convinced he's captain material, but he's done okay so far after the first 2 games. He did very well against Italy in a rubbish match, but he played well, and against France he did well as well. So I'll give him a bit more time, but I don't think he's the long-term answer at captain. And of course, great to see Johnny Gray back as well. Blair Kinghorn moves out to the wing. Understandable, but I'm looking forward to seeing Van der Merwe come off the bench and hopefully make an impact. Pardon me. With regards to how I see this game going, as I said, a lot of it's down to how Wales defend. I think Scotland, one thing we've improved on a lot over the Six Nations is defence. Ironically, with a Welshman heading our defence in Steve Tandy, he's been brilliant for us. We look a lot more structured, a lot more pragmatic than we did at the World Cup. We're not just trying to throw the ball around aimlessly, and throw the ball around all the time, I should say, not always aimlessly. But we are, I think, making progress under this new coaching system, especially with Peter de Villiers as scrum coach as well. So it's something I'm really hoping we stick to for the next couple of years. and it would be nice if we could come away with this game with a win, but given that it's in Wales, our record's pretty poor, so I'm going in with, a very balanced head, hoping we can win, but I'm believing it's very possible. And with the way this Wales team are playing right now, if we can get our attack right, we'll be causing them lots of problems and hopefully score a few tries. So I'm just going to give a prediction for this game. Okay, bugger it. I'm going to say Scotland to win by one score. 3 to 7 points. I think I'll go with a Scotland win, but I'll be shooting myself if Wales win after saying that. But that's just my preview thoughts, of course. On to the Italy-England game. Italy making the notable change of bringing back Matteo Minozzi, their exciting fullback. He returns to the 15 jersey, replacing Jaden Hayward. And England have obviously been forced to make a few changes with Manu Tuolangi out injured, George Ford out injured. So Jonathan Joseph moves to 13, Henry Slade comes into 12, and Farrell moves to 10 in the back line. In the pack, it's mostly the pack you expect. Pretty much all the same pack that played at the World Cup, apart from Johnny Hill coming in at second row. His form for Exeter has been rewarded with a start in this match, and I'd say fully deserves it, albeit I think both the Simmons brothers, Sam and Joe, deserve to be at least in the 23, but they're not in the squad, so that's the way it is. But I think England will have too much for Italy in this game. I think this is where they need to rack up the points to be in with a good chance of winning the championship, because Ireland have obviously got a very difficult game in Paris. So with that, I think England should win this one fairly convincingly. I think Italy will be better than they were against Ireland, and they will give them a tough time for the first 50, 60 minutes. But I think in the last 20, 30 minutes, England will steamroll them and just have far too much for them. And I think, and obviously a lot of it depends how this England backline click as well. With George Furbank back at fullback, obviously we all know he didn't have the best of games in Paris in the first game of the Six Nations. But against Italy, I don't think he'll be defensively tested as much. But I think he'll, be interesting to see how he does. But I think England should win this one by good, I'll say 40, 50 points here. And also a shout out to Ben Youngs. Congratulations to him. He'll be winning his 100th cap, the second English player in history to reach the 100 milestone after, of course, Jason Leonard. So well done to him. I still don't think he's the form England 9 right now, but, sort of a fine achievement nonetheless. On to the France-Ireland game. This is the game where Ireland need to win to secure the championship. France need to win convincingly to be in with a chance of winning it from their own end. And one change for France, obviously, with Teddy Thomas ruled out injured. In comes Arthur Vincent, He comes into the 12th shirt alongside Vakawara. In the centre, Gael Fickou moves out to the wing. In Ireland, the only change was the forced one of Robbie Henshaw coming in for the injured Gary Ringrose. So more or less the same from Ireland from last week. I think, Ireland, I said after last week they did okay, but they'll need to be a lot better today in this match if they're going to have a chance. Because France, I think, if France can get their pack on top and Dupont can run the show, it's going to be a very difficult game for Ireland. I think if Dupont's firing, this French team looked really good. I mean, he was absolutely fantastic against Wales last week, and the way he's running the show right now, I think in the game against Scotland, I think that he is their key element to everything as he knits things together. Dupont, I think against Scotland, we showed that if you can stop him, because we held a quite tight defence around the breakdown, it didn't allow Dupont to really express himself as much as he likes to. But on home turf, and if the French pack can get under Ireland's skins, then he's going to be in for a good game here. It'll be interesting to see how Stockdale handles defensive duties from fullback from Ireland's point of view. Again, there's a lot of question marks over him there, but in this game I think he'll be definitely tested, so it'll be interesting to see how he answers them. And saying that, I think if Ireland, they need to be more inventive in attack. Defensively, they're looking pretty good right now, but I think in attack they need to be show more variety than they have been doing, and to test this French defence out. just to test this French defence out, I'll say. So, given all that in mind, I think France are going to win that game by 1 score. I'll say France by 5 to 8 points, something like that. I think it'll be an interesting game to watch. So that means that my prediction is obviously Italy for the wooden spoon and England to win the championship in the end on points difference. Okay guys, that's all I've got to say here. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoy the final weekend. I'll be doing a live stream with Brandon for the Wales-Scotland game, and we'll be catching up on all the Six Nations at the end of it as well, so looking forward to that. Thank you very much for watching guys. Hope you have an awesome weekend, and I'll catch you later on.